Hello, I am Yogini Sunita, and this is Meditation, Yoga, and Stuff podcast. I believe my dharma or my life's purpose is to share my understanding of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda, holistic healing science of India. I make these amazing wisdoms accessible and adaptable for present times. So let's start.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today's topic is Sanskrit mantras and why and how they work. So, in wisdom of yoga and wisdom of Ayurveda, we use mantras, Sanskrit mantras, for healing purposes. Now, how can just few verses or maybe one sound or word can be effectively healing us? How does that work? So, to understand this, first we need to understand what is Sanskrit. And the word Sanskrit means perfectly created. So, we need to understand two things here. First is Sanskrit is created language, it is not evolved language. And second thing is it is perfectly created. So it is so perfect that the grammatical guidelines from Sanskrit many thousand years ago came into existence, and we still follow them. So this is the beauty of Sanskrit, that it is so perfectly created that there is no need to change this language. Now, how old is this language? This language is somewhere between 5,000 to 3,000 years old. Historians is still working that out, so I'm not going to go into detail about that today. But I'm going to focus on how Sanskrit works for meditation and why it works. So, the basic understanding here is that the Sanskrit language, was created to move towards enlightenment. So the language itself is so beautiful and so powerful that it takes us towards enlightenment. And how that happens. Let's try and understand where the language comes from. So the language comes from, it is a heard language. What does that mean is when the rishis or wise beings meditated. So this was golden time of humanity, and that time the divine connection was through meditation. So the sages meditated for many hours, and they realized that there is a sound in the universe, and this sound of the universe is what they realize also, that if we place this sound in certain way, it can actually change the vibration. And so what is this vibration? Which vibration it is changing? Now, we need to understand that we are made out of vibration. There is so much discussion about that. But if we look at from atomic level, we are all made out of vibration. Everything around us is made out of vibration. So when we utter the Sanskrit mantras, we can actually change the vibration of our system. And this is how Sanskrit mantras work. And these mantras are beautifully placed mantras. Sometimes the mantras can be more than 2 lines. Sometimes a mantra can be just one word or one sound. A mantra can be a divine masculine, divine feminine, neutral. Mantra can be seed mantra. So there are many ways you can chant the mantras. Mantras can have a deity attached to it, or a deity's mantra, or you can do the bija mantra, which is just the sound, the seed sound of the mantra. There is a lot of lot of way we can do the mantra meditation. And traditionally, the mantras, Sanskrit language is, even now in India, is held at such a high regard that it is not brought down to the communication level. So there are many other languages which can be used for daily communication, but the Sanskrit is so sacred that it is used for spiritual purposes like meditation and other spiritual practices. So, what happens with the Sanskrit mantra is it changes the vibration of our system. Also, when we are chanting Sanskrit mantras, the pranayam happens, the breath movement happens, which naturally works with our breath in such a way that the vibration of our breath also changes. And that's why the mantras, Sanskrit mantras, are absolutely fantastic. Now, how do we start using these mantras? Where do we find the correct mantra for our system? Now, traditionally, the guru used to give disciple the mantras. But what happened in modern world that it is sometimes difficult to find the guru. So in that case, how do we or where do we start? So I suggest to start listening to the Sanskrit mantras and notice what sound you connect to. And then once you notice that particular sound feels comfortable in your system, you feel connected with this sound, you can use that sound as your mantra. I have been asked questions that why Sanskrit mantra? Why can't I use mantra like peace and joy? Yes, you can use that, but the beauty of Sanskrit mantra is that the vibration of our system changes really quickly and moving towards whatever the outcome we want. So, for example, some mantras help us to calm down, some mantras rise our vibration, some mantras remove the obstacles from our energy system. And our energy system, if there are blockages there, they reflect as our illnesses in our system. So if we start working with our energy body with the correct vibration, we're basically removing those blockages and we're moving towards our optimal health. Now, this is how the mantra works. Now, you will also may have heard that how those who learn Sanskrit and teach Sanskrit are very particular about the pronunciation of Sanskrit. The reason for that is because even the slight change in the sound changes the vibration. So traditionally, we practice the Sanskrit alphabet for many years, and then the Sanskrit mantras many years. So that way, the perfect vibration of that sound is captured. Sanskrit is an orally transmitted language, and so I've been also asked that how come it is not lost into transferring from one generation to other generation. The reason for the same, I just said that earlier sentence that till the guru is satisfied the pronunciation is correct, we keep repeating those sentences. It is constant repetition till the sound is correct. And when we get green signal from the teacher, then we will move to the next one. So that's why repetition and also teachers' approval, when we do the correct pronunciation of the mantra, will move towards the next one. Now, this is why also there are some mantras, Maha mantras, which we do not sing. These mantras are used for meditation purposes only, and these mantras are considered very sacred. For example, Gayatri Mantra comes under that, Mahamrutyunjay Mantra comes under that. So these mantras, the reason for that is if we try to sing the mantra, it stretches the sounds or it reduces the sound, and we don't want that in our meditation practice, because that will change the vibration of the mantra. That's why it is very important to understand that the sound has to be uttered in certain way. Now, I also have been asked that does Sanskrit really affects positively in our whole body as well as our brain? The answer is yes and yes, because they're also doing a lot of scientific research now. It is called Sanskrit effect. and they have done MRI for the people Sanskrit scholars who use Sanskrit for meditation, and they realize that the brain actually is amazingly fires all the signals. It is really active in positive sense, like I'm talking in very lay person's language because I don't really know the scientific uh, words, but it was noticed that the gray matter is in specific region of the brain, which is the impact long term and short term memory, increased, and vital part of the brain was very it was really active and it was working quite amazingly. So that means the people who were using the Sanskrit had better memory, had more cognitive function, and also looking at their age, their brain was much younger. So all this information is there. This research was done by the University of Toronto in Italy. And this is amazing, like they call it Sanskrit effect. And I'm very, I feel very humble and very happy that, people are looking into this now, because now we have scientific evidence as well. So, how do we chant the Sanskrit mantras? The mantras, you can also chant it, maybe start with one time, maybe three times, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. So you can start there. If the mantra is longer, maybe 11 time, maybe 3 time, depending on what you feel that day. But traditionally, if you are chanting the mantra is chanted 108 times. And the reason for that is it is believed that our whole being, in our energy system, there are 108 chakras. And so we are chanting for each and every chakra. Chakra means where the energy channels meet, and that create the reservoir of energy, a vortex of energy, and that is called chakra. Out of that, 7 chakras on our spine are the where the more energy channels and prominent energy channels meet, but we also have the chakras all over our system. And also, the you can use mala. Mala is the prayer beads which you can use for meditation, and one prayer bead we use one mantra, and we slide that over, and so on. So that's how the mantra chanting is done. So that's how we know that 108 times we had chanted. There is also another way to do is you can use your pad of your fingers to do that. But having said that, that is one way to do it. There are also other ways you can just without letting go of the counting it, just focus on the sound of the mantra in your mind, and you can chant the mantra. That is also very powerful meditation practice. I've been asked, like, should I chant mantra out loud or in mind? So you always begin chanting out loud till your system become aware of the sound, become familiar with the sound. So very gently uttering the mantra, then gently you bring it closer to you, you whisper the mantra, then you bring it towards your heart and you chant it at your heart center. So that's how I teach how to do the mantra chanting. If you are interested in Sanskrit, I have a course on my website. There are a couple of courses. One is for understanding Sanskrit for yoga teachers, where understanding how we can use Sanskrit in yoga classes, how can we bring Sanskrit into our teaching, where I'm also teaching how to chant the asana names, and also explaining the asana, what is the meaning of asana names. And I'm simplifying how to chant the asana names. Also, I'm giving introduction to mantra there as well. And then the second course is fully based into secrets of Sanskrit mantras. And these both courses are evergreen. That means you can take them anytime. So I look at mantra like this. So let me explain why mantra works. So our mind needs anchor in meditation, and mantra can be really beautiful, positive anchor in the meditation. So imagine your mind is like a bird who is learning to fly. And there is a vast ocean in front of your mind or your bird. And this ocean there is no end to this ocean. It looks like going beyond even horizon. So the mind gets confused and it needs something to hang on to, right? And if mind start taking the flight over this vast ocean of stillness, initially it may be difficult because the wings are not strong enough yet. So what mantra does is it acts like a rock. So imagine there are some rocks in this vast ocean of stillness. So your mind, which is bird, imagine it jumped from here into the rock slightly far away from you. So it is jumping slowly at one step of slowly flying towards the rock which is in the ocean. And when it gets tired, it can sit on that rock, let the mind catches breath, and then you take the next jump, and so on. So till you get enough strength in your wings that you can fly over this vast ocean without any hiccup. And this is how the mantra helps our mind. It is a beautiful anchor. It helps our mind to fly in the vast ocean of stillness. There will come time where you will stop chanting mantra. You may not need mantra, but that's okay. But till then, mantra is the best vehicle mind has to fly over this vast ocean of stillness. Mantra takes us towards samadhi, the state of stillness. Now, you may have heard the mantra Om. The mantra Om is considered the mantra of our creation. And I explain in the courses, both courses which I offer on my website. One is Sanskrit, the language of yoga, online course, and I also second one is Secrets of Sanskrit Mantra. Both courses are online, and I explain into that the importance of the Om. So the first course I have offered, it is mainly for yoga teachers, but also curious mind who wants to understand what is Sanskrit and why it is called language of yoga. So we need to understand that these great wisdoms at ancient time, like yoga and Ayurveda, is developed in these in this language, the Sanskrit language, and it is still used into all the rituals of yoga and Ayurveda. Now, this beautiful language, it is so amazing that it helps us to vibrate on positive level. And so I wanted to share this beauty with all the world. And so I thought, how can I share this? Because I'm going to tell you a story that why I started doing all this, teaching Sanskrit. I was pondering upon teaching Sanskrit. I have been teaching yoga teacher trainings for many years, but back of my mind, the thought was that there is hardly any Sanskrit teaching happens in yoga teacher trainings, and I would love to do that. Should I do this or should I not? That was the thought process I was going through. And I was asking this question in my meditation, and that evening I received a phone call from my really dear friend, and he said, Sunita, there are three big cases of Sanskrit books. Do you want them? And my jaw just dropped. I'm like, how do you know? Like, what are you talking about? And it was such a bizarre coincidence that he came into, he understood that someone from different part of Australia, that family was looking for someone to take these amazing Sanskrit books from the Sanskrit scholar, because he passed away. The family, nobody was, interested in the Sanskrit this thing, but family wanted this wisdom to go to the person who will honor that. And so my friend was attending a yoga class, and lady next to him started chatting, and she said, look, this is friend's friend, they're looking for some yoga teacher who knows Sanskrit. And my friend said, oh, I know someone. And he called me, do you want books? And I said, yes, but three cases, like how much is it going to cost me? He said, no, all the books came to me. The family actually sent it to me, the three big cases of Sanskrit books, very rare Sanskrit books. And I was like, this was the huge sign. And that's how I started teaching Sanskrit. I started doing a lot of freelance teaching, different teacher training in Australia. And then I thought, why not share this understanding with the world? And so when I started doing digital courses, online courses, I put together the Sanskrit language of yoga online course, and also Sanskrit secrets of Sanskrit mantra online course. Now you can do these courses on its own or standalone, or you can do them together. But the gist of this is that the Sanskrit is a language of yoga. We can use it for meditation. We can use it in Ayurveda as a healing practice. So if you want to learn about Sanskrit, if you want to understand Sanskrit, you can download these courses. They are evergreen. In the first course, it's more of about asana names, and also stories behind asanas. And in the second course, I'm talking about the mantra. It is all about mantras and the magic of the mantra, how to use mantra, and I have also given few mantras there. Now, I have been asked also to chant the Gayatri Mantra quite often, and how to chant it. So the Gayatri Mantra is the mantra which is such a beautiful mantra about Gayatri Devi and goddess Gayatri. And it is a mantra which is very popular in Western world. I have seen that, people really love this mantra. This mantra is from Rig Veda. It is quite ancient mantra. It is very powerful mantra. And usually when we learn Sanskrit, we never got any explanation or meaning of the mantra. The reason for that is with regular chanting, your system actually recognizes and understands the meaning of the mantra. So I'm keeping true to the tradition, and I'm going to not explain meaning of the mantra, but I will chant Gayatri Mantra for you for 5 times. I hope that this helps for your meditation practice. So I'm going to chant the Gayatri Mantra 5 times. If you are listening to this while walking or while driving, please pause here, and when you are ready, sit comfortably and listen to this mantra as a meditation practice. I'm just going to chant it for 5 times, so it's not going to be too long. But even then, please make sure you're sitting comfortably. Make sure you are comfortable and gently bring your awareness towards your breath. Om Bhu Bhuvaswaha तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गोः देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Gently coming out of the meditation, tuning into effects of this practice so far. You may notice, you may not, that's okay. Just stay connected with what's happening, any sensations. Now, if you like this mantra, if this mantra is calling you, then you can practice with me out loud till you feel comfortable that you can chant this mantra, and then you can meditate on the mantra. You can use it for meditation. That's why I use this mantra today in this podcast. Now, I know that the podcast medium is very modern and I am sharing this ancient wisdom, but I think that this is how we will learn in our modern time. And that's why I created the digital courses. I also have computer background. I have done my master's in computers. So for me, it makes sense to combine these two wisdoms together and share it with the world. As you know, my dharma is to share wisdom of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda with the world. And so I am happy to share this, and I hope that this helps you to take your meditation practice further. Again, feel free to let me know if any topics you want to hear. I know that we are coming closer to the end of the year. I'm thinking of adding maybe meditation practices for you, but let me know if you want to hear them or anything else you want to hear, maybe more Sanskrit. Please let me know. And don't forget to visit my website or the links below and take a look at the courses I offer. And take a look at the Sanskrit course. Both courses, I think they're amazing, but you let me know your feedback. Thank you very much. And also remember, I also keep the price very affordable. I truly believe that it should be affordable for everyone. So all the prices on my for my courses is in Australian dollars. So those who are from different part of the world, just wanted to let you know that these prices are in Australian dollars. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. Take care now. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that you're taking this time out of your day. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye for now.